Hello, everybody, and welcome to Evidence, the Evolution Show, Episode 5. This week's episode was very impromptu, very spur of the moment. Literally got planned less than 15 minutes ago, and we just jumped on and said, let's run with it. So this is Episode 5, Chris and Brock. You guys are the evidence of evolution this week. Yeah, go ahead. Do that little. You know what? I do think this is.
I'm doing it too. You just can't see it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. This is some evidence of evolution right here. We can ape out a little bit. Ooh, we're allowed to ape out in the ape zone.
Am I allowed to say a little French? Cuss?
Oh, yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Sorry for all the 5-year-olds, but let's go ape shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna demolish your creationist argument.
What's up, Tuco? And it's ironic because creationists, when I debate them, their shit does make me want to go ape shit. And sometimes I am like chimping out inside, and I have to do. It's hard to control it when you're like debating somebody like Kent Hovind, and he says something like, "Oh, evolution means an amoeba gave birth to a whale," and you know, on the surface, I'm like, "Huh, yeah," but inside, I'm going, you know.
Can I respond to that? To his like, well, we come from an amoeba to evolution.
Go for it, buddy.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not. I have said this before, and I might sound like a broken record. You may have seen me say this, maybe if you've seen like those old videos where I was with Candles live streams. But I'm not a fan of how we name things and classify them. But I could change my mind. But according to the evolutionists, like all the scientists, basically any evolutionist that isn't me, if we came from an amoeba, we're still an amoeba. We never stopped being one.
Right.
So it's not. So let me put it like this for the creationists. Let's say, I don't know, God makes me, and he makes me and some other people like the first people. Let's say I play football. Not that I do. I don't. I should maybe. I don't know. Maybe basketball. I play football, and I reproduce, and my kids reproduce, and the cycle repeats. So 1,000 years later, my kids play football and they play soccer, and then 1,000,000 years later, football, soccer, baseball. And then if they keep adding sports, that's kind of what this is in a way. If that makes sense for them, because you're just adding to the clades.
Right, you're talking about cladogenesis.
I'm still a mammal. I am still a mammal according to them.
Right.
Now, I don't know. Again, I don't know if I like the way we name things. I would call me a mammal because I got all the mammal traits, the hair, the nipples, whatever, all the stuff on the warm blood. I don't need nipples. I don't mind having them. Just must be flawed.
All right. Well, that was a fun diversion. Welcome to Evidence, the weekend evolution show. The way it goes here is the main topic is what's your favorite evidence for evolution? Everybody is bar minimum required to share their favorite evidence of evolution, to be on the show, to be in the side chat. So everybody chat, say your favorite evidence of evolution. I got two things. And say that my favorite evidence of evolution, I kind of have a cheat. My favorite is all the evidence. There's much of it. I can name like 50 topics: comparative genetic analysis, heuristic morphology, transitional forms, analogous forms, embryology, artificial selection, forensic paleontology, predictive power, observed speciation, ecology, geography, biology, genealogy, psychology, botany, virology, biochemistry, zoology, horticulture, pharmacology, cellular biology, anthropology, marine biology, microbiology, ethology, cytology, taxonomy, phylogeny, climatology, agriculture, biophysics, anatomy, immunology, entomology.
Okay, I get it. Okay,
there's more.
I was overwhelmed, but now my leg. Hold on, my leg hurts. My leg. Ow, my leg. I was doing this, and I popped my leg muscle. Now it hurts. Ow. It's your fault. It's your fault. Howdy.
Chris or Brock, whoever wants to go first. Let's hear your favorite evidence for evolution.
I got two things to say. So basically, favorite for the process of evolution, my favorite evidence is the fact that we've literally seen this shit happen. I'm not joking. Like, we've seen small scale evolution, where it's like speciation. Might not be the most impressive, but we've seen like different flies, and then we've seen like different microbes. We've literally seen it. But when it comes to evidence for the idea of like the history, like we come from apes, I would say, I guess, DNA, because of that fusion chromosome. I'm not an expert on that, about like the chromosomes, like the thing that mixed together for the human, right? Right? Is that all right?
Oh, sorry.
I think I get what you're going at. Yeah.
I was sharing some of the audience's favorite pieces of evidence for evolution.
To me, it's got to be genes.
Interesting one. Fish that climb trees. Do either of you know what Aunt Jer's talking about with this comment?
So okay, I can interpret this. Okay, so fish doesn't have any actual taxonomic classification. It's really just a layperson thing. So ergo, if we all came from fish, quote unquote, then as Aronra put it, we're strange monkey fish. But talking about evidence for evolution and favorites, while I do have to say the massive spectrum of scientific disciplines which corroborate evolution, in other words, all the evidence, is one of the biggest key facets. I'm going to pick to a little bit that I just happen to love. I'm a big fan of plants, succulent plants particular, so cacti and the like. And I was reading up on it. It's a relatively recent thing. I was like, let me research, cactuses, because why not? I want to learn a little more about them. And I'm like, I know they're plants. I know they have the same structures. I get how it works, but I never thought about it till I read and learned that, okay, cacti's adaptation, really, really thick stalk. That's the main body of it. The branches, quote unquote, are I forget the scientific name for them, but the parts where the spines will come out. Because you notice it's always a certain little sort of usually white affair that the spines come out. And the spines themselves are modified leaves. And I'm just like, that is so freaking awesome. Just to see that adaptation.
Wait. So you're saying spikes or the whatever you call them on the cactus are modified leaves? Is that correct?
They are. Yes, they are. Mind blowing. Yet it's so obvious when you look at it. I'm just like, oh, that is so beautiful. I look over at them right now, and I'm just like, you are just adorable. So
is it because of the way the spike is shaped, or is it in the DNA?
It's the actual adaptation of the same structure, the same roots, in much the same way an arm has become a wing in birds.
Oh, so
taking and modifying that part.
So you don't mean look at the DNA, you mean look at the part itself, the spike, basically.
You can look at it. I mean, it's very simplified at this stage in the way it generally looks, but you can tell that it is. And again, if you were to map the genomes, you can tell.
I'm going to look that up real quick.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's a big one, Phantom. Phantom says that his favorite evidence of evolution is the methodology that scientists use versus creationists. Yeah, that's huge.
It really is.
Are like, the Bible says this happened. What facts can we find to support that? Scientists are like, here are the facts. What conclusions can we draw from these?
There's a cartoon for that. I saw a cartoon for that.
Night and day, the difference in methodology. Like, so fundamentally different from the ground up. It's like we're not even playing the same ball game.
Yeah, they're completely backwards on their way of thinking things. It's like that line from I forget which movie it was from about a decade ago, but it had the pastor saying, if the Bible said 2 + 2 = 5, I would believe it. I wouldn't question it, and I'd find a way to make it make sense. And it's like, you've just admitted everything. The Ken Ham Bill Nye debate. What would convince you? Evidence from Bill Nye. What would convince Ken Ham? Nothing. Exactly, Brock.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, wait, what? And that was it. Now, I'm not saying that Bill Nye was like the perfect debate guy to further the debate. There might have been someone who knew more about evolution, but I think that explains it very well. It's just that I heard people say that Bill Nye doesn't have the best education, and maybe that's true.
Well, he's a communicator on stuff.
Yeah.
So that's neither here nor there, though.
He wiped the floor, though, especially with he says something about Noah's Ark. Maybe there was a local flood. Maybe there's a God. I don't know, but it can't have been a worldwide flood unless you want to invoke literal, just like the crazy amount of supernatural powers.
Yeah,
like it's say that God made it look like it didn't happen. Okay, well then there's no evidence unless you want to see the book, which that's some book says the thing. I mean, that's really all there is to that. So,
speaking of the methodology of scientists versus creationists, one of the things I like to do when I debate creationists is I imagine I am one, and if I were a creationist, my argument against Ken Ham would be that Ken Ham freaks out about evolution and says that people who are theistic evolutionists are adding man's ideas to the Bible. But Ken Ham adds his own freaking ideas to the Bible all the time. That's literally his entire ministry. He has this whole fan fiction about Noah and his family and Noah's kids' wives And he's given them all names and personalities that aren't described in the Bible at all. And he has added so much while criticizing other people for adding things to the Bible and saying, this will lead to the downfall of society, that he literally has an apologist whose job is to stand out front of the museum in front of a sign that says, yeah, we're adding stuff to the Bible, while criticizing other people of doing that. But just explains why it's okay. It's fine. It's no big deal. His job is to just stand out there and, say up front, this is what we're doing and why it's fine. No, don't worry about it.
Wow.
Erica covered that in her documentary she did. Oh, Gutsick Gibbon. Have you ever heard of Gutsick Gibbon, Brock?
Hold on. My face is kind of red. It's weird. It must be cold. But what did you say?
Have you ever heard of Gutsick Gibbon?
Yes, I have seen her
She's
stuff.
amazing.
I'm not an expert, but I think she's winning all her arguments based on what I've heard. It's hard to understand. It's hard to understand what she says sometimes because she's like just a brilliant mind with all these like things she learned. So I want to watch more of her videos. I might do that after we talk today because
she's great. I love her videos. I think it's pretty. I have no problem choosing what my favorite videos by her are. It's the heat problem. I love that shit.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard of the heat problem, Brock? Have you watched any of her videos on that?
I have, but if I'm going to be really honest, I think I wasn't able to understand all the stuff because it was above my level. Is that the same? Yeah, it's too much for me, so I kind of got bored and watched.
Okay, I literally did
I think I see what she's saying because I think I got an idea because all this stuff was happening. And it's like that would generate a lot of heat. I think that's the idea. Now that doesn't mean it didn't happen, but then because maybe God did this or this, but that means you admit there's no evidence because God made him look like there's no evidence because he did all this magic. You know what I mean? Have you seen that Dark Matter video where it's like, how do you God? This little baby angel thing is like, hey, God, how are we going to get the animals to survive on the ark?
Oh, Dark Matter. Dark Matter.
And God's like, got his hat. He's got his little magic. And the baby angel's like, oh, okay. Well, why couldn't he use magic the whole time? Just act him dead. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So the heat problem is great because it forces them to come out and admit that a huge part of their model is just magic. Because what the heat problem is it's a development problem. If you look on the planet, there's all this development. There's mountains, there's tectonic movement, there's unstable radioactive isotopes that are gradually decaying into stable elements.
My favorite part.
All of that stuff produces heat. There's meteoric impacts and space impacts. All of it produces heat. And if you can take a pretty good accounting of how much heat has been displaced by these processes over the tenure of the Earth. And I love it because it's inarguable. You can just look out at nature and see all of this has happened. You can measure the rates. And when you add up all that heat, you get a phenomenal amount of heat. But over a denominator of 14.7 whatever billion fucking years, it doesn't matter very much. It's a negligible amount of heat. It's not anything to worry about. Yeah. But if you make the denominator 6 to 12,000 years, like 100 plus orders of magnitudes too fucking small, you end up with a rate of heat displacement that would annihilate the planet, absolutely gangbang it into a coma at the very least. More likely, it's going to wipe it from existence by heating it to a superheated plasma hotter than the surface of the fucking sun.
Seriously, like you're talking values where electrons, protons, neutrons can't exist.
Okay, you both are saying stuff that I didn't even know was possible. I kind of forgot that you can do that. So you're amazing, man.
That's what the heat problem is. That's why
that's making it simple.
You said something about magic. I just want to see Ken Hellman go to the mirror and just like point the mirror. Isn't that funny? And what do my best accent? Oh, yo, boy, magic. Yo, boy. Yes. And answer whatever argument because that's what he does. I hate saying that, but he was kind of rude sometimes. He's, you believe in religion. I guess you believe in religion. The Holland. Yeah. Holland. Let me finish. Okay, so let me think. You believe in magic, fairy tales. It's all just SpongeBob imagination. You can't do it. Oh, wait. Hold on. Your name's disappeared. Why? I can't see. Oh, it's because of the comment. Okay. Yeah. Austin. Let me go. Austin, do you believe in evolution? Do you believe into an ape? Well, he's like, the guys do it, and there's like some laughing in the back. Like, well, I can pray for you. You're misled. I'm like, that's it. There's no counter argument. There's nothing. You're just gonna blindly say, and you believe in all this good creation stuff. Like, oh my gosh, that's what it is. He's just what's it called? Projecting. That's the business. That's it.
Over here, we know that Kent's channel is basically North Korea.
Hey, North Korea is better than that.
You ever seen?
They have better music.
Donnie is Kim Jong-il. You know, they run it together. They lock down the comments. When you debate them, it's basically you have to debate Kent, you have to debate Donnie, you have to debate the entire audience and all of their dads, and you have to do it with both hands tied behind your back at the same time, which is like, it's really ironic because despite that, he still gets his ass kicked in almost every single debate he does.
It's amazing.
Okay, I want you to tell me. Let me think. I'll pretend to be Sam. I'll pretend to be Ken Tovin. I want you to tell me something. Let me think. What was the let me. I'm sorry. I'm a little slow sometimes. You have to forgive me. What was it? Okay. Well, do you believe that I forgot what it was. I'm sorry. I'm forgetful.
He has a lot. Yeah, so we can probably guess what it was. Yeah, it's probably. Do you believe you're related to a banana? Do you believe you're related to a ladybug? Do you believe that a cow gave birth to a non-cow? Like things like that.
You think the whole universe fit into a dot smaller than a period? Right. You think you came from a rock? You believe you came from a rock?
I want to touch on that. Okay, they may. I've watched Aaron Raw. Aaron or Aaron?
Aaron Raw.
He's a personal friend.
It's not Aaron. It's Aaron.
Aaron is awesome.
Aaron.
The Rock.
I have been trying to get him on this show, but he's a very busy man.
Oh man,
I understand.
But he said he will come on eventually and talk about taxonomy.
That's awesome. Oh God, I want to be here for that.
I have never been able to communicate with him except one time I went to comic bodies ago, and he hearted it. I was like, yes.
That is always feels good.
Yes, because he's like a legend. And I'm not saying I agree with him on everything, but I don't know anything about him. But he's an awesome dude. He's stuff to kill.
Aaron is a legend for sure. He was. I think he might still be, but he was at least a professor of taxonomy and phylogeny at University of Evolution for years and years. He's still one of the world's best experts on the subject. I think his YouTube channel is a gold mine of information. He has a video encyclopedia of taxonomy, just going through all the different taxonomic groups. I have been working my way through it for the better part of a year. It's incredible. He is phenomenal. His knowledge is mind-blowing. Oh, and before I see you're getting queued up to say something, but we got to give some love for a second to Pragmatic Crystal, another legend in this community. Do you know Pragmatic, Brock?
I don't think I do.
Oh, man. You want to know Pragmatic?
I forgot. I'm sorry.
Surprisingly, I don't either, but I feel like I should.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. Let
me think of something.
Okay.
I think I remember. Austin, do you believe in evolution?
Well, obviously.
And what was he who would say to that? He would say, "Well, it's us trying to put our classifications onto the animals." No, but a dog goes just to a dog. I'm like, wait, what? You just classify the animal.
So this is Kent has so there's a variety of ways to debate something. One of the ways you can debate something is you can study the hell out of it and just pore over the data and absolutely obsess over it and consume all the information about it you can get and really talk to experts and cultivate nuanced opinions. Or you can just be so categorically wrong that it would just take like teaching you 12 introductory college courses just to get you to understand how you've misappropriated and misapprehended things. And Kent does a combination of those sometimes. He studies the Bible a lot, but he's so categorically wrong about and the thing is he's like doing that thing where he's like kind of right, because the species concept is very complicated. It actually fails as a concept to describe a lot of organisms, and that's because animals really decide what species are which species by choosing what they will try to replicate with, what they will try to mate with. And a lot of things that you would think are technically different species are actually interfertile and can produce either hybrid offspring, infertile hybrid offspring, or non-hybrid fertile offspring even sometimes. Like wolves, their DNA is so strong that if they mate with a dog, they basically just produce a wolf. It'll look almost exactly like a wolf. It might be a little bit smaller than a wolf, but it doesn't really look like a hybrid necessarily, you know? Yeah. So that is one of the ways the species concept fails. So it does have drawbacks. So when he says things like, animals don't care what you call them, that is kind of true, but obviously he's using it in a malformed way to support conclusions that aren't really accurate.
If we don't Yamato, wait. If we don't classify things, there would be, what would be would there be a science? Like, if we don't classify things, how do we understand anything? You know what I mean? It's just
classifying things definitely has a practicality. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is the thing about and I've brought this up in my streams and videos before, is that Kent talking about the animals don't care what we call them. Well, okay, that's great, but then Kent and other creationists biblical literists want to insist that the kind classification needs to be cemented down in some way, whether they can do it or not. That has to be how things are, and thus acknowledging that there are groupings that can be classified, usually using little examples of, the creeping thing and the birds and, whales being fish, it's like, it is what it is, but they'll always they always want to group things together. It's the classic case of wanting to have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
It's hit me that's a common thing amongst many common things.
And it's something I would call organizing deck chairs on the Titanic. Like, even if you can get, a baraminology that you're still not putting evolution and creationism on equal ground. You're just literally doing this. You're moving creationism up a tiny, at least you have one plausible argument now.
That'd be it.
Yeah.
First, what's all the stuff you said earlier? Don't repeat it, but
if a God appeared tomorrow and just maybe it says it's the Christian God, I bet a lot of people would stop believing in evolution. Like, that doesn't make sense, though, does it? What's your thoughts on that?
Totally, Brock. I don't think that evolution has anything to do with God. I think evolution is true whether or not God exists. Ironically, It's the creationists who make evolution something about God. They make it about denying God or something, when really it's just scientists trying to understand living systems and the natural world to fucking help people, usually, is what we're doing with it. And it drives me crazy that they inadvertently staunch our ability to do that by spewing just toxic radiated garbage into the atmosphere, and especially doing it to their own kids. They literally just scoop their kids' brains out with a melon baller, drop them into a blender, put it on the highest setting, and then pour the mixture back into their brains by doing this creationist bullshit to them
after they've thrown a dozen chick tracks in there.
And that is why, honestly, my channel exists mostly for when those kids get old enough to realize their parents are really dumb and start questioning all the bullshit they've been told. And then I will be there to help them sort that process out. And I've already done it for a few dozen different creationists. So I was just like, fuck it. Let's just actually make this a thing. Let's really go all in on this. And this is one of the arms of that endeavor, is this very show that we're doing right now. So I think it's been going very fantastically.
Speaking of chick tracks, I got 2 from a guy. So there was a garage sale.
Oh, we're talking about Jack Chick?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I made a joke about it a second ago. I don't know if you heard it, but yeah.
Oh, that's a deep cut. Go on.
So basically, I got a chick track. And I was at a garage sale. I bought these 2 games. I don't have a disc thing, so I can't put the disc in there. So I'll play them some of the time. But basically, so the chick track, I got 2 of them from a guy. I read them like, this is just fear mongering. Where's the proof? Or at least
that was his whole shtick.
Yeah, there was one I saw on the internet recently, and this was one. I'm gonna worship the Satan, and apparently Satan tricks her into something, and it just didn't make sense. I'm like, really? It's just, I don't know what else to say besides.
Yeah, terribly written stories and those things.
Just, it's weird. It's like, you trying to scare us or something? Like,
that is exactly what he's trying to do.
Let's say this.
So have you ever, Brock, are you familiar with the concept of a morality play?
A morality play?
You might have experienced one of these without knowing what they are.
You might not know what it's called. Yep.
Okay. So have you ever gone to a play put on by a church? Because I went to 2 or 3 of these when I was a kid without knowing what they were.
Okay. A play. I don't know about a play, but I did go to a music thing with a friend I met at a park. My park's like right by my house.
Okay.
They were singing. They had some singing. We all had some candles. This is interesting, but I'm not convinced.
Did they do any horrific depictions of people dying and then going violently to hell?
No,
because that's basically what a morality play is. I was forced to sit through several of those as a child, and they are like brainwashing turned up to 11 and ratcheting the dial down so you can't turn it back down. Morality plays are like guilt. They're weaponizing guilt. They're weaponizing fear. They're weaponizing violence and hedonism. They weaponize almost everything positive about the human experience and turn it into sheer terror by conflating it with confirmed damnation, basically. That is what a morality play is, Brock. So if you're telling me that Christians are weaponizing fear, yes, I believe that.
Definitely.
I believe that 100%.
And as a kid, I went to one of those.
Part of their playbook for a really long time.
As a kid, one Halloween, I went to one of those effectively Hell House things, which was the same idea, a little more subdued, but it still had the same principles going on. And I just want to say, I do find it hilarious that for a group that decries the violence and sex and stuff in the popular media and all that jazz and the evil, secularness of music and stuff, that they're sure going to love to put all that stuff in their plays. It's like, okay, so it's good when you do it. Just like lying for Jesus is good, but it's not good for anyone else to do anything, which we're not lying anyway, but y'all know what I mean. Sorry, I had a moment
there. Phantom pointed out that I said that hedonism or violence are positive. I shouldn't have said violence was a part of they weaponize, like a big part of morality plays is like one scenario I saw several times is like people dying in a car crash after a date where they were unchaste. So things like that. That's what I mean more by they weaponize the positive. Anything that would bring you joy or make you question religion outside of religion, bring you joy outside of religion or make you question religion. They like set it up to be a terrifying thing that if you die immediately afterwards, it's hell forever. Like, and then they, play out several scenarios where that actually happens, like the instance of the couple being unchaste and then dying in the car crash on the way home. And then they have, red ribbons and fog machines and smoke, and they play evil music and they play devil cackling sound effects. And as a 9-year-old, I was like, oh,
yeah, that shit's scary.
It fucking worked on me as a kid. As an adult, now I realize it's fucking hilarious, actually. I'd probably laugh my head off if I went to one of them. But as a kid, I was pissing my pants walking out of those fucking things. They are sheer brainwashing. It's crazy.
Terror tactics, baby.
Yes. So I wouldn't say violence is a positive, but hedonism can definitely be a positive. If you are attracted to someone and you want to go out with them, it's kind of hedonistic to go right up and say, hey, I think you're hot. Let's get it popping. But
sometimes it works.
Yeah, and it's a good thing.
Okay.
If it brings
I was gonna say something else. I forgot it. But here's this: Bible morality, Bible story, Bible lore, Bible thought. This is Bible for you. Having a lust for some random lady you see, bad, go to hell.
Yeah.
What's that? You killed a bunch of people because God said so? Good, go to heaven.
Yep.
That's true. Yeah.
This backwards morality when actually applied in the story versus what people interpret everything to be. It's crazy.
What else there to talk about? There could be something. There's gonna be a science thing.
Well, I mean, Do you want me to finish my list? I think I was at agriculture.
Agriculture.
It's fine.
Entomology, physiology, geology,
guys,
meteorology.
stop. Let's talk about agriculture. Well, let me think. Well, a corn always produces the corn. I'm like, yeah, isn't that what evolution says? And don't they? Won't they add new types?
Here we
go.
go.
Like it's a mess. Corn always gives birth to corn. I'm like, yeah. No one's saying it's going to give birth to a pine tree, like he said it would, because evolution says you give birth to a pine tree. Huh?
I'm so glad you said corn.
Take it away, Austin.
Take it away, Austin.
Would you call corn a grass?
Yeah. Okay. I was thinking about that because hear me out. You know those sticky sticker things, those spike balls of birdweed, and how they unwrap up from. That's what corn does. So I don't know if that's a proof, but maybe they're related. You never know. And I thought
we do know, Brock. That's the beautiful thing.
You just waited to jump on that moment.
Corn is evolved from a species of semi-edible wild grass called teosinte, exactly like what you described.
Could you say that again?
It has
teosinte.
Teosinte. It has seeds, little burrs, little things in it, and for about 20,000 years, humans selectively bred teosinte into the populations of corn we see today. And we not only know that this happened, we know which 5 gene sequence exactly that humans toyed with by doing artificial selection. And those are the gene sequences that control kernel size, kernel softness, kernel sweetness, kernel color, kernel aroma. And we know specifically that corn is a huge disproof to the creationist canard that you can never create new genetic information. Because you know what teosinte doesn't have? It doesn't have a freaking cob. The genetic sequence that creates a cob in corn is a completely novel sequence, does not exist in teosinte at all. It was formed from a wholly novel line of genes that have no relation to the teosinte at all. Corn was a modification of the stem, or the cob, rather. The cob did not exist at all in teosinte. That entire gene sequence. So corn alone, this organism, just corn, disproves creationism thoroughly.
So beautiful.
Disproves so many creationist arguments just by itself. And that's why I love that you brought up corn. I don't know if you knew that about corn, Brock, but I wanted to share that with you.
Thank you. I'm looking up teosinte now. I see corn on the right, some green thing in the middle, and something in between. So it looks like it really did evolve artificially, but it don't matter. I think creationists used to say stuff like this. Well, that was selective breeding. That's not evolution. Like, it is evolution.
Yeah,
exactly. It's just an artificial version of the same thing.
We're just creating specialized selection pressures that are under our control and getting these kinds of results.
Can't tell me, well, that would never happen in the wild. Some things do happen in the wild and they evolve. Kent?
It's irrelevant whether it would or wouldn't happen in the wild. The fact is that it clearly does happen. We show that the mechanism works. Ergo, there's no reason to think it doesn't work in other applied cases. But he's never going to acknowledge that.
Evolution is proven by the environment producing novel traits in organisms, and humans are just another part of the environment.
Absolutely.
We're still, so I prefer to even use the term selective breeding because I think artificial selection is a little anthropocentric needlessly. But unfortunately, that's just because of human misunderstanding. Artificial doesn't really mean human. It just means skill, basically. It means, we were able to do this because we have the skill of recognizing what traits we want in these animals and breeding them for it. But unfortunately, I was guilty of this myself. I thought it meant like artifice, like, oh, this phone is technically an artifice, that's not what the real root of artificial selection is. But yeah, I prefer selective breeding. It's a less loaded term, I think. But yeah, corn is huge. Agriculture in general, there's tons of examples of agriculture being dependent on evolution.
Have you seen those paintings? They should be real unless you want to go in and say, oh, it might not be, whatever. Have you seen those paintings of the chopped over watermelon? There's like a little bit of red and a lot of white.
Yeah.
Who in the flippin' flopper has ever seen one of those today?
You're not going to, because everything we got's bread, specifically.
Well, I might just be a dumbass creationist, but I think it evolved. Like, it evolved. It's artificially, but I don't give a shit.
It's still a melon.
I'm glad you brought up...
It's still a melon.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up fruits, because while we're talking about agricultural evolution, are you familiar with Ray Comfort? Have you ever heard of Ray Comfort?
He is crazy, or he's lying.
So I talked about corn.
Wait. Have you ever told a lie? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Have you ever told Austin? Have you ever told a lie?
Yeah.
What is this? He plays this game like, dude.
Yeah.
You want me to go to hell forever?
Morality play, bro.
Yeah, his whole thing is make people feel like shit and cause them to repent. It's horrible.
Are you a liar? Well, then worship this God and you won't be sent to hell forever. What type of morality are you talking about? What is this a joke?
Yeah.
I can't believe I was a Christian. I was a Christian for years. There was a time when I don't remember his name, Morgan Freeman. He had a show to discuss the topic. I didn't know what his stance was. I barely saw anything. He's like, is God real? I'm like, we know it's real. We all know it's real. Look at my dad. We agreed. Looking back, man, I feel like a dumb for saying that. How would you know?
So Ray Comfort, you might not know this, but he was famous for making an argument about how the banana proves intelligent design because
guys, hear me out. So I think I know what this person meant. Someone else said, you know what else fits in a human hand? Can I have permission to just I think I know the type of what it fits in the human hand. Perfect. I think I know what they meant, what their dirty minds meant by that.
I didn't even get to what my joke was going to be, and you blew it out of the water. I was going to joke about the fact that wild bananas are completely inedible, and bananas that humans eat, much like corn, had to be shaped by artificial selection, by selective breeding techniques that humans use. I wasn't going to...
you could say we blew the load too early.
I can look. Hold on, wait. I can do this. I can do this, but I can't do the other. Dang it! I can't do this.
Oh man, this is great.
You gave Ray Comfort's favorite saying: "Consider the banana."
I just thought of something really. Hear me out. I thought of something. Okay. You know how people say, don't be a dick to the creationists. So don't be rude. They're being rude. I thought so. If you think I'm being rude, you could call me Brock the.
That still sounds like a performance name right there, buddy. It's not even an insult. That's a compliment.
What do you mean performance name? Hold on.
So anyway,
educate my naive butt.
I assume that you're going to end that statement. The very nice person.
Yep. So, while we're, talking about this subject and Ken Hovind and the 15-foot, yeah.
You know what? That's funny. Because during my debate with him, there was a period of like 5 minutes where he said giant penis or whale penis or some variation of penis, like on repeat over and over again. And then after he said penis like 20 times, he was like, I know a guy who's pretty obsessed with penis. I thought he was talking about himself, Leslie. But obviously he was talking about AJ, Atheist Jr.
Oh, man.
I'm like, I wanted to be like, dude. But you know what? It was a missed opportunity for me to be like, oh, yeah, your friend that slept in the bed with an 11-year-old boy. I bet he's
burn.
I missed so many opportunities to burn him. I was trying to be nice.
Yeah.
I'm working the crowd on those debates. I'm not really trying to convince him. More of members of his audience. And that helps.
I started to think that too. I thought I'm not going to be dumb and just lie. I'm admit that I already kind of was dumb because I thought I could maybe reach Kent, maybe make him change the arguments a bit on evolution. No, he was a broken record. And
Yeah, the
honestly,
needle has moved.
honestly,
The needle has moved over time.
at the time of watching his stuff and talking to him, I would tell you, well, I'm over the process, but I don't know if I came from an ape, but I still kind of think that way. But it just looks so much more likely that we came from an ape because he's just constantly being rude and lying about stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just how it is. Like, I could be an ape. Like, he's lying about all this. I'm not an ape. And he'll lie about all sorts of other topics and catch him in the lie. I'm like, should I trust you on not being an ape then? Like, does that make sense?
So this is why you hear a lot about creationists deconverting and not a lot about people converting to creationism, because I feel like, let me see here. Yeah, you can disprove almost every single creationist argument with just like this section of this book. Just this one chapter disproves like almost everything creationists have to say. And creationists thrive on the fact that most of their audience won't read it. They won't read that little sliver of that book and actually check themselves if what creationists are saying to them is accurate and, makes sense.
You know
and
what?
The reason why so many people convert is that every now and then one of them is like, you know what? I do have this book. Let's crack it open and see what it actually says. And then they realize, oh man, the more I learn about this, the more it seems like this Kent Hovind guy is maybe telling me some porkies,
Porkies? What?
Oh no. Cusco says his science textbooks were called Exploring Creation with Biology. As a kid from Texas, I understand and I empathize with you. The shit I read in my Texan public school textbooks was insane. I read a textbook that said that we didn't know how electricity worked, that electricity was a miracle from God.
Wow.
We don't know how electrons flow through mediums. God does it. And if that isn't the perfect metaphor for exactly what creationists and Christians do with evolution and biology, I don't know what is. Just saying we don't know how something that we definitely know how it works, and that, God does it. That is literally, It seems like that's what their argument is God does it.
Boils down to.
Yeah, why, I just don't get, why would they think God fills the gaps? We don't even know if there's God. If there's God, maybe he fills those gaps, or she, whatever. But we don't know if there's a God right now. Unless I missed something that must have been said. Is there something I missed? Because, hold on a second.
No.
Tell me, I'll write it down. I want to know.
Right.
I mean, they just start with their
satisfying
conclusion.
to laymen, but it'll never be satisfying to the scientific community. And creationists paint that as the scientific community treating them unfairly, when really it's the scientific community would have to treat everybody else unfairly to consider creationism scientific. They would have to lower the standards for science to say this is science, which obviously they won't do. So creationists misrepresent that. They misrepresent a lot of things. They misrepresent basic definitions and concepts. A big part of their argument is just misrepresenting things.
I want to say something. So basically, creationists and some Christians, like there's people out there who just they think themselves. I went to one of the most country. America is a Christian nation, and I go to myself, think, no, free. I remember Aaron. It's Aaron. Aaron Raw. So he said you can't have freedom of religion without freedom from religion. Is that what he said? Right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, if I can't not be a Christian, then there's no freedom. There's no religious freedom. I'm always. Yeah.
You're okay, bro.
Yeah. You're saying. Yeah.
I used to not be able to do this, but my sister kind of could. Now she can't. I can do it. I can just do. Hold on.
So I over the weekend I was watching a video encyclopedia on world history, and it was very enlightening. And it seems to me like if you want to be overly simplistic, world history is the trend of how much power we give to religious institutions versus how much we give to governmental institutions. And those two have been, just fighting each other for all of history. And when the government has most of the power, things they generally suck, but they're less, like actual like shit. When the religious institutions have power, things are fucking awful. You get things like the Holocaust and the Crusades and things like, not to say that governmental power doesn't do terrible things too. It does. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's all terrible. It's all of God's children are awful. That's
but like, it's almost as if, it's people being people and using different justifications, are finding whatever way they can to get into power to do the things that sadly people are going to do. And it seems to not matter religious affiliation or lack thereof on these things occurring or not occurring. And sometimes these things are used to justify them. Far more, though, in history, religion being used to justify atrocities than the obsession that evolution was used. Usually, it's the case of those prejudices, like anti-Semitism, already existed well beforehand, and some principles might happen to be used as a way of justifying stuff because, hey, we can twist it to our narrative.
And you know what the fun thing is that makes things even more complicated?
That is it, because they twist everything. Hear me out. Okay, Darwin doesn't like the idea of social Darwinism, to my knowledge. I don't know if you've ever heard of it because you've been different.
Right, yeah.
Some guy, I think it was a Christian, said, well, wasn't exterminate the wicked make us better? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That's not Darwin.
What I was going to say about the point that Chris was making is that what makes things even more complicated is that there's often an admixture amongst these things. Like, I would say religion is one of the biggest businesses in America. Christianity is a huge business. Absolutely. And vice versa is true too. Capitalism is one of our biggest religions. We worship capitalism like a religion, like a god. It's crazy, especially like Republicans. Dude, they love their capitalistic
free market, trickle down economics.
Yeah, exactly. Reagan. I don't think Jesus would have ever had a bread and fishes approach to anything. He sounds like he doesn't give a shit if anybody starves. It's like,
okay. America, freedom, democracy, republic. Even though those are things that make Christianity, even though we have an amendment to get rid of that, so it's like separate.
Yeah.
And very countries are strong dictatorships are responding. I mean, democracy.
Totally not a theocracy. We totally want to turn it into Sharia law, but with Jesus, and we're the new Iran, but with God and not that Allah.
I want to ask a question. I don't know everything about Project 2025. Some people say Trump was part of it, something he wasn't. I need to know this. So, can you tell me more about Project 2025?
Well, we're veering hard into politics. Let's do it. Trump is definitely the source of Project 2025. It was penned by the Heritage Foundation, which has supported Trump unequivocally, very vocally, full-throatedly supported Trump. They've worked with Trump. They were one of the serious collaborators with his cabinet. They mention him by name hundreds of times in the Project 2025 document. It's insane that he even tries to claim that he has nothing to do with it. There's no way that's a reasonable thing to believe whatsoever. His handprints are all over that thing. So I feel there's a lot of misinformation out there.
I didn't vote for the last election, so I don't know why. I must have just not thought of doing it. I don't know. But I'm gonna be real honest, because honesty is key. I think for a little bit, I supported Trump in the past couple months of my life because I was skeptical of the Democrats' economic stuff. But I'm not an expert on this stuff, so I could just be darn wrong. So I used to be like a Trump's guy when I was little, and I kind of grew up and said, "Nah, I don't believe that," and I just didn't know what to think. And I kind of was like, maybe this left stuff could work, and then I went back to Trump a little bit. And now I'm back to, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, do you think Republicans are bad on economics, or do you think that's like off topic? Or
I think Republicans are bad on economics. They're bad on everything but being pro-abortion, which is all they need to keep their base, who loves babies and is extremely terrified of women having freedom and autonomy to not be brood sows for the men.
they say they love kids, but then they don't have the welfare for the kids who need it.
Exactly.
And I'm not like a
They love
libertarian.
babies. They love pregnant women.
Hey, let me hear me out. I just maybe I'm gonna sound like a libertarian. Maybe we don't need to do all these welfare. We just lower the taxes a bit and just decrease military spending to go with the lower taxes. Maybe. What do you think? What do you think? Maybe that would work. I don't know. What do you think?
You could always get a crack team together and crunch the numbers and see what might happen. That's the thing. We're talking about such large values. It becomes just, us speculating on what could or couldn't work. Economics, especially with government spending, is a pretty crazy subject like that. But it's ideas, and it's ideas that don't consist of fucking over half the population. So, not against doing the research. We can put it that way.
I'll put it to you this way, Brock. I got into streaming online because I like debate. I've been doing debate since like middle school. I was a debate coach in college. And in almost every debate, if you're going to propose a plan about a problem in your debate, you need to also come up with a way to pay for it. You want to know what my favorite way to pay for plans? I went with this on like 95% of my debates because there's so much spending in it. Frills spending. Just cutting that one part of the budget, which is like 15%, maybe even less, maybe like 5% of the overall budget. You can fund almost anything. That's billions, hundreds of billions of dollars just from cutting frills. And you know what frills spending is, Brock? That's like nice silk table covers. That's like, soda and snacks for Congress, while they're waiting for their turn to go up and do nothing, That's like champagne and parties and celebrations. It is stuff that we unequivocally do not need. Cutting the frills budget will not affect how the government runs on a daily basis. The only thing it will do is make pissed off civil servants who are fat and overfed anyways. They're already overpaid and being rewarded with all these frills that they don't freaking need. So, yes, I am 100,000% in favor of whatever political party will fix the outrageous way we allocate our tax revenue. It is fucking ridiculous. We spend so much money on warfare. It's insane the amount we spend more. We outspend the next top 23 countries combined, 21 of whom are allies in military spending. It's like 60% or more of our budget. There was a point where the Pentagon said to Congress, stop sending us tanks. We don't have room for any more tanks. We can't park tanks. If you send us more tanks, we just have to disassemble them and send the scrap back to you. Do you know what Congress voted on that resolution, Brock? Do you think they agreed with the Pentagon when the Pentagon said we don't need any more tanks? You want to take a wild guess if they agreed with that?
Congress just kept sending tanks, right?
100%. Of course they fucking did. You don't even need to ask.
Those big military industrial complex companies gotta, they gotta produce the product, so they gotta sell it. And I mean, let's be real. There are some companies in that whole field I generally love because tangential stuff, and I am a fan of a lot of our military technology and stuff. So I'm a little mixed on the military thing, but when you look at practicalities, it's like, throw my love of stuff aside. Yeah, it's like
the spending.
Exactly.
It doesn't need 60%. Not when our education is in such but they don't want us educated, is I think the issue. Nobody's going to give you the education you need to challenge the system that makes them rich and powerful.
But
you have to go get it yourself.
I thought we had to beat them. They're Soviets, even though the Soviet Union collapsed 33 years ago. We still got to beat them Soviets. Oh wait, no. Now we're allied with the Soviet ex-Soviets that aren't Soviet but are totally Soviet but in disguise. Surprise, it's me, Dio. I mean, Putin.
I saw a picture of two fat, old, white male Republicans at a Trump rally wearing shirts that said, I would rather be a Russian than a Democrat.
That is so fucked up.
And I think it's hilarious because the counter is so obvious and easy. I'd rather be an American than a Republican. You know, like
burn. Apply cold water to the political party.
Yeah, right.
Now let me be clear. I have a very big soft spot for Russia, and indeed, historically, the Soviet Union and the cultural elements, and I'm a big 20th century historian is sort of my thing. Yeah. So I just want to clarify, I'm not talking shit about Russians. I generally love the people. It's just things are a little crazy over there government wise. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I'm part
You're
Russian,
crazy here too.
But if you look at like surveys, Russia is one of the harshest countries to live in. Their people are not happy with their government either. Most of them do not like Putin either. Although a lot of them do fervently, radically love Putin. I shouldn't talk about Putin. I didn't mean any of that, Putin. Don't put any polonium in my condo. I'm a small fry. Leave me alone.
Vladimir, we love you. I will say this about Vladimir Putin. His favorite band, I think I forget exactly how it's pronounced. Yuba or something. Is actually a pretty cool band. I'm not even being sarcastic.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. He actually that's his favorite band. They're kind of a Russian nationalist affair, but some beautiful songs based on older stuff. So it's like I can it's the same thing with me liking music from North Korea. I can separate the situations from just this creative work.
Yeah.
Can I be real honest about music for a second?
Go ahead.
I've listened to Augusto Pinochet's song. Some people made a song, but supposedly he's like a really mean dude who was like a dictator of Chile.
Yeah.
Pinochet, yeah. It's a good song.
He was a murderer.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's a good song.
Oh, dude. Every government is murderous, and they all have songs that slap. I kind of like Canada's anthem.
Yeah.
I mean, I live by there. Oh, Canada. I think
I think it's hard to beat? Oceania's Test for Thee in a 1984 film. That was a good song.
Pretty good one.
So scary.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, while we're all talking stuff, separating art from artists, there is a certain failed Austrian painter who's relatively well known, who I happen to be really, really like their paintings. Doesn't excuse anything they did.
You know what? I knew that, and I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't want to Godwin's Law the whole stream. But here we go. Didn't he mostly paint dogs?
I think as far as life forms go, yeah, because he wasn't too good with people. He did a lot of architecture. That's why they wanted to do architecture. So he ended up doing dogs in the paintings a lot because they're like, don't do people. So he's like, okay, my dogs will stand out, or so that's my understanding.
There's an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia about.
Oh man, yeah, we have to go check that out again. Also, we are way off base from the evolution subject.
Yeah, we are.
We are completely
whatever.
But that shows
people are watching. They must be enjoying it a little bit.
That shows how free flowing the thought process is with people like us. I mean, not to sit there and come off with an ego, but we're thinkers. We want to discuss stuff. We want to be, well-rounded in our understanding of the world and universe versus a lot of these creationists and such who build their entire lives, like, again, Kent Hovind, who literally cannot go through a single sermon, if we call his videos sermons, without randomly just going into some element of his script. He has to do it, and that's his entire existence. And that is such a pathetic way to live.
It's made him very wealthy. He has money, and he has a lot of people near him that adore him.
That and the 9 years of prison time, though, have also made him very bitter.
True. It cost him a lot too. Yeah,
it's made him
Can I have permission to show the Oceania dystopian anthem real quick? Or is that just not a good idea right now?
Well, let's not play any political anthems. We're trying to get back. We're trying to get back off the politics thing a little bit, I think.
Okay.
But definitely post a link for me later. I want to check it out.
It's very orchestral. It's just.
If we want to show something, have you guys ever? I was thinking about this myself. Have you guys ever heard of a content creator named Sarah McCraner or Smack McCraner?
And I can't say I have.
She's a dancer. She's so great. She's I think she's like an autodidactic dancer, like self-trained or something. But she does videos where she imitates animals
Wow.
And I think, in a way, they're it's kind of like proof of evolution, because you can see some similarities in the way she moves. Do we want to watch? Here we go. I got something pulled up. Here we go.
Hey.
Check this out.
Yeah,
Tell me if I'm a crazy Evo bro here in the way I'm seeing this. Hold on, let me load it up. I don't have the
evolution.
best
Things get better over time.
computer and connection.
Yeah, he always says that. I'm like, sometimes they lose eyesight because animals don't need it, and he'll say, "Well, that's a clothing song." I'm like, "Come on, bro, you can't be serious, bro."
Here we go. Smack versus animals.
I guess you wonder where I've been. I searched to find the love within. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let it go.
Right? Am I seeing some things there?
Yeah, no, that is.
Because when I see that video, I'm like, not. She's dancing in a way that's, human expressive, but it looks so much like the animal she's imitating at the same time.
What I would love to see is
the video of the animal alongside it there, I could totally believe this is a dance some dude's doing in a club, looks sick. Like, if you just cover up the one side, that's 100%. Yeah, that is a real dance there. But she's being inspired by these animals' movements and imitating them in such an interesting way. And I think if we didn't have common ancestry in our morphology, that might not be so easy to do.
Well, even more so, what I think of is the fact that, trying to think of the way to phrase it, effectively the more primitive aspects of our brain are the entirety of lesser animals, so to speak. Brains are progenitors. So I wonder, and that's what I say, yeah, Austin's loving it. I wonder if you were to, have like a brain scan or something going on, or some way to measure this, what parts of the brain would actually be firing on that, to wonder if it would trip that, because it's like, you've got to wonder how much of it is just literally primal in us. And that's nothing but a compliment. It's beautiful to see those relations that we have to every other creature.
Yeah. So she's an Australian actress / dancer that lives in LA. Sarah McCrainer, if you somehow end up watching my videos, I want to study evolution on you. Let's hook up some electrodes and see what's going on when you're imitating these animals, because it's beautiful.
Yes.
And let's maybe put you in some motion capture suits and see what's going on there kinematically. I think there's a lot we could learn from you, Sarah, and this is one of the things I love about evolution. Because it shaped us, you can see it in so many things. There is so much evidence. And this is what this whole show is about. This show was basically about me putting my money where my mouth is when I told Kent Hovind and other creationists, when I debated them, that there's so much evidence of evolution that I could literally spend my entire life talking about it and still not cover it all. And that's what I'm doing here. So I love the tangents. Let's discuss it all deeply. Except for, I think maybe my one rule is we're not going to do any national anthems in their entirety. We can see snippets of national anthems, maybe, but.
Well, I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but can I actually show the branch of life I drew for the reptiles? It's not perfect, but
yeah. I think you should be able to. Do you have the present screen option on your screen?
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to share the entire screen. Hold on. Video file, slides, PDFs. Is that what the? I made this with Microsoft with MS Paint. Just drew some lines and put some text on there. Is that slides and PDFs?
I don't know. I'm not a StreamYard expert myself. I would probably, if it's just an image, I would guess. I mean, it would have to be a PDF file specifically. Is it a PDF?
Oof.
Yeah, it looks like you can drop slides or PDFs into it after you click the option to add. Or you can add from Google Slides.
It's a PNG file. It's a PNG file.
Okay. I would say you may do better to maximize and share screen, Austin. Just want to get your go ahead on that because it's your channel.
Yeah, however you want to do it, Brock.
That'd probably be the best way, is just have it pulled up and share the screen.
Okay, I guess I could do the whole entire screen if you don't mind. Yeah.
I think it'll give you an option to show I think it'll give you an option to show like a particular application.
Yeah,
I want you to be able to see my mouse. I don't know if you can see my mouse if I just show the.
Well, you're not
actually
sharing.
Does hide it, so
you're not sharing your screen currently, so I couldn't tell you.
I think it does hide the
Sydney.
mouse.
Sydney says Aussies are the awesomest. You're biased, Sydney. You can't say that in good faith. Come on, get out of here. I'm kidding. We love you.
They are
Aussies.
They are the most Aussie adjacent person in the thing, as far as we know, in the chat. So they have the most experience.
There's some great Aussies in this community.
Really
Sydney, of course, is one. Mark Reed is one I love. Ian Chen is awesome. There's a ton of awesome Aussies.
But I don't think I got the show.
Oh, okay. I see here.
So basically, this is not. My typing is way off. I'm going to be honest and upfront. My typing is way off. What?
This looks like a drawing right out of Origins.
Yes.
So basically, reptiles evolve, and then there's the Archosaur, and the Archosaur splits into dinos and other. I think crocs and their cousins, maybe something like that. Then something. So birds evolved from dinosaurs. So according to evolution, they're still dinosaurs. They're still Archosaurs, still reptiles. They never stop being that. But Kent will say, Kent will be like, they're just. He'll say stuff like evolution is that they become something completely different or something like that. It's ridiculous. It's a mess.
That's actually a common creationist thing. I'm glad you put T-Rex on the one side, because that's a common thing they say is like, oh, birds evolved from a T-Rex. And it's like, no, they didn't.
So Vic put this comment in the chat. She said, that bird is also just jamming, in my opinion. Yeah, that bird's loving either some music or it's feeling the rhythm. And birds, you know what's fascinating about that is that the neurological, microbiological elements that birds use for singing music, they're the exact same ones that humans use.
But that just means a common designer, Hovind.
Right. Yeah. No, I think the common design argument fails categorically because evolution requires so much randomness. And you can't. Randomness is literally the polar antithesis of design. You cannot design randomness.
And you see the evidence of that randomness, those odd quirks, like that nerve that goes, down by your heart and back around, including in giraffes.
Nerve,
that's the one. Yep. And just so many other little things that are just odd. As I put it in, I think my most recent video, Kent's and Creationist entire MO, when they pull the common design thing and try to argue with a pen and such, it breaks down because we know the watchmaker argument analogy where it's like, or where they say, you find a watch on a beach, it was designed. It's like, yeah, but from your point of view, the watch is nothing but beaches on a sea of beaches, or a sea of watches. Everything's watches, a sea of beaches. That's weird.
Right.
And it's like, it hit me that their entire perspective of the universe consists of everything being artificial. There is no natural world in their perspective. Right. Ergo, their entire argument breaks down because there's nothing to contrast with.
Yeah.
I think it's what you're saying. Somebody said that, that if you see a watch on a beach, it must be made. And someone said, yeah, because the beach wasn't made. It's
exactly
right.
Yeah. Like it's specifically like you contrast artificial things from natural things because we know the artificial things are artificial. We know the natural things are natural. That there just has to be that distinction as effectively a brute fact. And they want to erase that line, claiming everything's artificial in its principle. Ergo, the entire declination is meaningless.
Yeah,
I would agree.
I would. Sorry.
So go. What were you going to say?
No, you're good.
Well,
this is your episode.
There's got to be something amazing we could talk. I need to think of something. There's got to be something else to keep this going because I want to keep going.
Well, I could start going through Guild Wars lore. I kid.
I could finish my list. I think I was at meteorology, physics, volcanology, radiometry, oceanography, history, dendrochronology, theology, paleoclimatology, biogeography, tectonic plates, philosophy, mathematics, statistics, biosemiotics, intelligence, logic, language, engineering, computer simulation. And I think, there's actually a lot more than that, but that's around where I stopped because a lot of the other ones are just like
subsets of the originals.
Yeah, zoopsychology,
Yeah.
zoobotanosychology, like just 6
animal
or 7
cognition
ologies and onomies like squished together. So that's just the list.
But Austin, my book says a thing.
That's what it is. My book.
You activated my trap card, Chris, because I went a step further and I went ahead and took each of these topics and I actually put together how they support evolution. For instance, how does comparative genetic analysis support evolution? Well, comparative genetic analysis supports evolution by allowing scientists to compare the DNA sequences of different species, revealing shared genetic similarities that indicate a common ancestry, thus providing strong evidence for the evolutionary relationship between organisms and how they have diverged over time through natural selection. Essentially, the more similar the DNA, the closer the evolutionary relationship between species. We can identify conserved genes by comparing genomes and can identify genes that are highly similar across many species. One of my favorite of these types of genes are called Hox genes. We made a whole episode about Hox genes, Brock. That was episode 3, I think. Was just about Hox genes. Do you know what Hox genes are?
I've heard of them, but I think I forgot what they are. But who did you have on? I'm just curious, by the way. Who did you have on for that 3rd episode?
Some of the episodes are just stuff. Austin is just reading off the skill list from Call of Cthulhu.
That's what I was laughing at.
Yes.
Yes, ERBs are genetic evidence too, Vic. Sorry. Hox genes. Brock. So Hox genes are highly conserved genes that exist in a huge number of species. There's Hox genes in flies. There's Hox genes in mice. There's Hox genes in humans. And they are pivotal genes that dictate how body plans are developed. Specifically, what segment of what body goes where, what limb goes where, and all that. So when you see like pictures of babies that have like 3 sets of legs or like, abnormal mutations like that, usually that means a Hox gene failed somewhere. So let me ask you an interesting question, Brock. If you took a Hox gene that developed a leg on a mouse and you inserted it into a fly's midsection, the part of a fly's genome that builds its midsection, do you think the fly embryo that gene sequence develops will have an extra leg in that segment? Obviously it will. But do you think that leg will be a mouse leg or a fly leg?
Let me think. Because I'm not expert on genes. Let me think.
They're taking a mouse gene and then they're inserting it into a fly.
Yikes. This is
good. You're thinking about it.
A mouse leg or a fly leg?
But they're taking a mouse gene but putting it into a fly's genome. Ooh.
Yes. See,
So that's what. Ooh.
I'm grinning over here.
I know genes are going to be crazy complex. Sometimes they do some dumb, really amazing things. Oof.
But just what do you?
If I guess wrong, don't judge me. Okay.
We're not.
It's gonna be a fly leg.
You are exactly right. A fly leg it is indeed, and it's one of the most amazing things we found with playing with these genes is that you can take and you can do the opposite too. You can take a fly gene and insert it into a mouse genome and it prints a mouse leg, because what it does is it tells the body plan to produce a part there. It doesn't tell it how to produce a part.
That's coded elsewhere. So all you've done is basically set the command, but you haven't changed what the template is.
That makes sense.
And that also shows the related nature of everything, since these are effectively the same sets of genetic code for, let's say, the tetrapod template, like we are. Yeah. Got to point in the right direction.
I don't even have to say it.
It's beautiful. And sometimes I have these moments of wonderful eloquence with these things. That's what is just absolutely beautiful about biology, about genetics, is how everyone, the creationists like Ken Hovind, want to talk about the complexity of things. Complexities. Yeah, it's an emergent complexity, but the individual steps, while still chemically incredible because organic chemistry is insane, it's still fundamentally simple. And it's just successive addition of processes that are all clearly related. My thing about that would, and this is part of Aaron Ross' phylogeny challenge, is that a thing that would prove creation and disprove evolution is to have a specially created creature. And I extrapolate that further to be like, here's the thing, creationists. If everything was a special creation, common design be damned, it would not be the same. Because you look at anyone creating stuff, any groups of people creating stuff, and they create wildly different things, unless there needs to be a practicality involved. But even then, it breaks down to where simplicity becomes a hallmark of design, not complexity, like all the crazy extra random bits we have left over from evolutionary processes.
I was gonna say something. I was gonna pretend to be Kent again, because you said something earlier, like a minute ago.
Oh boy,
what was it? I just love doing this. Oh, what was?
No, you're good.
Okay, go back to like 2 minutes ago when you were talking about the same thing. Can you rewind a bit?
I can't remember 10 seconds ago.
if you take a mouse gene and you insert it into a fly.
After that. Dang it. What was it you were saying? You said something.
If you can remember it, bring it back up and we'll swap back over to you. But I just had a thought. What I love about this is that when you ask a kid, like, what do you think is interesting about science? What would make you want to learn biology? The kinds of things you can do with Hox genes are the answer. Like, I learned about these things and I was like, dang, I kind of want to get an embryo and do some experimenting. This sounds cool. Like, if I could get a clone embryo of myself and give me an extra pair of arms, I would kill it in the mixed martial arts game. I'd be wrecking it.
Okay, there, Goro.
Yeah, I'm Goro from Mortal Kombat. You got no chance against me, bro. But no, that is the kinds of things where kids, that sparks their imagination. That sparks the love of learning that puts someone on a lifelong path to change the world. And evolution is helping us do that. And creationists are fighting that, which is so
bizarre. It has to be evolution because I think the best proof of evolution, like, might be, actually, I think about it, just disease and how we treat it, right? Because I'm gonna be honest, I am terrified of vaccines and other shots because they hurt. I hate them because they hurt, love them because they work. That's how vaccines are. I've learned a lot. I'm not an expert at all, but I've watched videos, read articles. But you know what? Vaccines, I want to get every single one there ever has been, just in case.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Have you ever heard the story of vaccines, Brock? Do you know how vaccination was discovered?
Oh, this is a beautiful, beautiful story.
Let me think. Okay, I think way back in the day, people would just there was like a disgusting skin condition. People would get a tube and suck it up. It was really just giving you the disease. There was some guy back 100 years ago.
Edward Jenner.
Don't tell me. Don't. There's a guy, some guy. He
That's
was like,
his name.
Don't spoil it. My point is, the guy's like, okay, if I infect people with this cowpox, it'll stop chickenpox or something. It's because it's similar.
Smallpox.
Yeah. It's just.
But they're similar diseases. Yes, they produce pox marks on the skin.
Yeah,
and they're genetically closely related. Hence the beauty of it.
Yeah.
So smallpox was decimating Europe. It was killing families wholesale. This is one of the things that gets me about anti-vaxxers is I've heard them say things like, oh, people were fine before vaccinations existed. Like, no,
they weren't.
They were not. Do you know what people did before the vaccines existed? They fucking died. That's what they did. Entire families died wholesale from
whole communities gone.
Basic common colds and shit. Yeah. They would have killed for a vaccine, any vaccine. And now there's moms walking around in $300 yoga pants that don't vaccinate their fucking children.
Have you seen that meme of these people in some poor country and like people lining up to take a vaccine, and so the rich American people line up to not take a vaccine? Oh my gosh!
Mothers in Sudan will carry their children barefoot on their backs for miles to get vaccines, and Americans are just like, It drives me
so
insane.
Fucking mental.
Oh my god!
Have you seen that?
I can't. And you know what? They're so shockingly common. Do you know how many chicks I've matched on dating apps that I've had to unmatch because I found out they were anti-vax nuts? Oh my god, it's the worst.
Have you seen the meme of Balto? He's like, I'm a cool wolf dog. I deliver all these vaccines or something like that. Some medicine. And the mom's like, I'm not gonna do that to my kids. Kid don't need that. So he's like, confused.
Yeah.
Am I confused? What? I just risked my life to bring the medicine to you. You're not gonna use it? That was hilarious.
Anarchic Fox says, it'd be interesting to know if Austin Sims' extra arms had an effect on his mental understanding of his body map. How would the brain relate the extra arms to the neurological structures? Well, the way I understand Hopkins, Fox, they would build a whole arm. It would be a complete arm with the exact same, neurological landscape as the other arms. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know, actually. That's a very interesting neurobiology question. I would think that the brain would be able to handle that level of input. The brain is very efficient at what it is designed to do. What's up, Brock?
I think I remember Aaron. Yes, Aaron. He's like, what amazes me is not just what we know, but what we don't know. Yeah, it came to mind. I just love that quote because it's true. I mean, what we don't know, we'll know it someday, hopefully, and it's just amazing. I will be right back. I think it's Eagle. I'll be right back. Okay.
No problem. Right. We got it. We can hold the fort down.
Thinking about the extra limb concept is if people with an extra finger can have good mobility and usage of it, if the brain could handle that, I'd imagine it could handle up to the entire separate appendage.
You know what's interesting? Fox just asked, how independent could the arms be? This is fascinating. They've done experiments with experimenting on the brain and the center of conscious decision, and what they have discovered is that have you ever realized you're holding something and you don't remember when you made the decision to pick it up?
Oh yeah.
So what the fuck is going on there, basically?
Good point. I guess it kind of balances out with when you forget you're holding something, like the classic, oh no, where's my phone? Oh wait, I'm talking on it moments we all have.
Another crazy one, Chris, is that they've done brain operations on people where they're having, problems in their brain. And the way they fix it is they sever the connection between left and right hemispheres. And when they do, you can give a command to the right side and the left side will carry it out. But then if you ask the left side, hey, why did you do that? It can't communicate with the right side, so it confabulates a reason why it did it.
Wild.
Because it can't remember the other side being asked. I know. That shit melts my fucking mind, Chris.
I'm not gonna lie. The idea of having my brain split down the middle, having I gotta forget the name of that part, the binding point, corpus callosum, or is that a different part?
I think that's accurate.
Having that split absolutely fucking terrifies me because I want my whole brain communicating as best it can. It's just one of those thoughts that I'm just like, it makes me uncomfortable.
But Fox is right. It's very fun to think about. It would also be really amusing if I did get my Goro set of arms and then those arms just really didn't like me. And they just spent their whole time fucking with me, just knocking shit over.
You're just constantly having to use your main arms to keep your other arms from choking you to death.
Stop it.
I'm back.
Austin Sims' clone was found dead today, strangled by his own extra arms. The regular arms were questioned, but they said nothing because clone Sims is dead. That's all to report. Back
the original said, quote, I see this as an absolute win. Yeah. A corpus colostomy, indeed. Vic Litt, thank you for coming in. This is why I love doing live. The live audience is always smarter than me. It's great.
Oh God, yeah. The best thing about doing these kinds of creative works is when you've got an audience that will, in your comments or in your live chat, will, provide every bit of info they can, or if they have to, call you out on your bullshit. Love them.
I'm sorry, Yamato, you cut out. Could you repeat that? Because you cut out.
The corpus callosum. We were talking about the part of the brain that regulates information between both hemispheres of the brain. It's the corpus callosum, and I think I said you were right when you came up with it, Chris. But yeah, like my whole thing is that I love the brain, and I'm able to spit out terms like superior anterior temporal gyrus and occipital lobe, parietal lobe. Like I know what all those brain parts do, but then I forgot one of the most basic ones. It's like forgetting the hippocampus.
What about the spirogyra? Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Right. I think the most interesting part of the brain is the newest part of the brain, the neocortex. The name of it literally means, the first part of it means new. and one of the things that's you having a banana, Brock? That's funny. One of the things that's interesting about the neocortex is that humans have neocortexes and birds have a similar feature in their brains. But the bird's neocortex isn't actually a neocortex. It comes from a completely different evolutionary line of development. So it does functionally the same thing as our neocortex, even though it's completely different. Convergent evolution.
Convergent evolution. Yep, I was about to say. And that's, again, a fine example of components being added to, modified, repurposed, in effect, as a natural processes of evolution, because if something proves useful, that mutation is going to stick around. Oh no, Brock's choking I do.
We're going to watch Brock die. All right, well, let's go ahead and finish the episode. Brock, you can die after we're done.
Yeah, YouTube would demonetize us for that. I'm sorry, that's so dark. Oh God, this has been fun.
You can die on somebody else's channel.
Go down.
Logan Paul's?
Go on to Ken's channel if you're about to bite it. Get on there. Quick.
I need to finish this episode. What's something that Kent would say? I think I saw
we don't
stupid, that's for sure.
We don't have to flog the Kent horse. We all know Kent.
I'm taking a break from that clown for a while.
He's our favorite silly old man.
Let's go. What's something Ken Ham said? We could probably debunk that, right?
Were you there?
Yeah.
Were you there to see Bobby Britton? Ooh, got him.
I've been thinking about what kind of debates I might do with creationists in the future. We can maybe talk about that, because Donnie wants to do something about specific ancestry, but I think Erica might have beat me to it, because I saw Erica put up a new video where she's going at it with Donnie again, even though she said she was done with Donnie. But not that I'm criticizing for her. I love the video. It's awesome.
It just seems to come out of nowhere, so it seems like it might be, a triggered event, so to speak.
She defended. I wasn't specifically on specific ancestry, which is what Donnie wanted to discuss with me, but it seems like it was pretty much the same arguments that he was going to make for that. And she dismantled it better than I could. So it's like, I don't know if I'm going to take him up on that. But, gosh, I was thinking a good one would be like, they talk a lot. Have you ever heard the term, Brock? You're pretty familiar with this creationism stuff a little bit. I'm sure Chris has heard this term. Have you ever heard the term goo to the zoo, or goo to the zoo to you?
I never have, surprisingly.
You haven't heard that one?
I obviously get what it means, but yeah.
Yeah. Bach says, I got all the cool kids in my chat. That's right. Don't you forget it. Come over.
Shameless plug. Come to my channel sometime.
Chris, you do be having the cool kids in your chat, too. I ain't gonna lie. You chat.
I want all the cool kids.
Yeah. Shoot, what were you even talking about? I forget now.
You were saying the goo to zoo to you.
Oh, goo to the zoo to you. Yeah.
So to be honest, I don't know what that means. Goo to zoo to you.
The really common creationist canard. It's one of their talking points. They say that evolution means goo turned into the zoo. So primordial ooze. The abiogenesis theories about how, the primordial oceans had the chemical elements necessary to develop into microscopic extremophiles, which eventually became underwater plants, and then on-land plants, and then underwater animals, and then land animals, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's what they mean by goo to the zoo. And then when they say goo to the zoo to you, they're talking about once the animals exist, developing through evolution into the modern populations we see today. And it occurred to me that specific argument, what it really is incredulity about the idea that a microscopic organism can evolve into a non-microscopic one. And I kind of started going over that a little bit with Kent in my debate, and I got him pretty good on it, I think. And I was thinking maybe that would be a good one to start, putting on the table for something to debate over with creationists. The goo to the zoo to you one. Because goo to the zoo, that one especially, we got it covered. Fungi, algae, yeast, choanoflagellates, sponges. I started looking into it more after the debate with Kent specifically. There's just choanoflagellates and sponges alone, there's 250 different species of microorganisms that can develop into non-microscopic organisms if you give them time and put them in the right environment with enough nutrients. The same is true for algae. We can watch algae develop from a microscopic unicellular organism, a population of those, and then develop into a colony of multicellular organisms. And then even from there, it'll develop into a non-microscopic colony of multicellular organisms where it's large enough to be seen without, tools or aid. So boom, goo to the zoo. We can definitely do that. And then the zoo
make a great band name.
The zoo to you is easy because we already have all the human ancestor lineage. So I feel like that's a good one. If we do another episode of this, we should bear down more on that topic and maybe prepare to do a debate for that. I've been putting out feelers, but no creationists want to debate me yet. It's been hard to find. I guess Jim Bob wants to debate me, but
God.
That rings a bell. Jim Bob. Oh, that rings a bell. Jim, I forgot who's Jim Bob.
Talking to him.
What an arrogant ass.
You know what? He did do a pretty okay stream with Answers in Atheism earlier. Of course, his chat were gibbering chimps like they always are. But that's kind of how I feel about it. He's not there to have an actual conversation. I've been putting out the feelers. Modern day debate, they still do debates on these things. That's how I discovered Sal Cordova today. Have you ever heard of Sal Cordova, Brock?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, so I heard about this guy today, and he blew my mind because he was like, I have 5 PhDs in biology, and I'm a young Earth creationist. And I was like, whoa, what? You have 5 PhDs in biology, and you're a young Earth. What? No. And come to find out, he doesn't have any PhDs in biology. He's an engineer. He has PhDs in engineering, and he's self-trained on biology. I don't know if he's Vic. I don't know if he said that exactly, but he was playing his credentials up hard. And if I made the conclusion that he was doing that's what he was saying, then he was definitely not specific enough for other people to not make that conclusion. Yeah, exactly. He's only done mathematics and engineering.
Can I say
I not only made that conclusion and made that mistake, I went on his channel and looked through some of his videos, and I saw on one of his videos a comment that said, I'm a biology student, break down evolution and creationism for me. So clearly creationists think he's a biology expert at the very least. Yeah, so he did a debate on Modern Day Debate about 2 months ago. They're still debating this. So I figured I should send them an email and tell them that, if they do debates in the future and they need more people on the evolution team, I'm ready to go. I'm sure they got better options than me, but, I'll be there. I never heard back from them. I think I might have overlooked like some things. Like I think you need to send them like a clip of your debates and stuff like that. So maybe I'll have to check. I'll just send him a second email or something. But yeah, that's the main thing I'm looking out for is like, maybe some other creationists to do debates with. My big thing is I'm getting ready to go back to school next semester. Hopefully that will be all cleared after my next meeting with my next advisor, taking 2 classes, sociology and a public speaking class. Oh man, just so much going on.
What's the old saying when you just keep doing the same, talk about the same topic? Like, what is it? Beating the dead horse or something? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Can't open. He'll say something. Wait. Well, those no, you want to call us creatures? I messed up. Well, as evolutionists say that time. You take time away. They cry like a baby because there wasn't a pacifier. I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a pretty good point. He does. This is something creationists do a lot when they argue against evolution. You'll notice that when they talk about how evolution works, they'll only ever talk about the process, or they'll talk about how long it takes, but they never multiply those 2 factors by each other, right? They'll say time can't make a new species. That when you do speciation, it's still a fruit fly. It didn't become a watermelon, But over time, a speciation times a speciation times a speciation times a speciation. Yeah, absolutely. Morphological changes like that can occur to the point where we have new clades of organisms that never existed before that had to develop into existence from an array of species that didn't include them.
The way you said that, you accidentally made it sound like that fruit flies evolved into a watermelon. You might want to rephrase that.
True.
Don't say that about a creationist. They will jump on that. They will jump on that and beat you with that.
Fair enough. A fruit fly would not evolve into a watermelon, but over time, you might get a kind of fruit fly that has a feature that no other species of fruit fly has. Like, say, they just don't have wings anymore and they become ground insects. Well, are they still fruit flies? Technically, they are, but that is a novel kind of organism that might warrant the creation of a new clade, of what's called cladogenesis.
This is a little off topic, but have you ever heard of a robber fly?
A robber fly?
That sounds familiar.
Okay, so I saw a robber fly. They're like relatives of the fly. They have this proboscis. They like bite and inject venom that acidifies your insides and they suck it out. They do it to other bugs. Like, oh, don't, it's gross. There's one killing a dragonfly. And the dragonflies are going to die, so I just squished them both. I know I did a good deed because dragonflies eat mosquitoes, so I think it's good.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the food chain, Brock. That's part of ecological homeostasis. The idea that all of the organisms have interdependent relationships. Some organisms support each other. Some organisms predate on each other, but it all creates a web that is carefully balanced, and it is actually quite precarious. If you mess with it too much, there's going to be consequences. And I think this is part of the reason creationists fight evolution. It branches out into other aspects of science denial for them, because evolution says not just that the organism is impacted by the environment, but also that the organism or the environment is impacted by the organism as well.
I should have finished
the
that.
organisms are changed by the environment, but the environment is changed by organisms too. And they don't think it's possible. They don't think that can happen. They think God created a perfect planet, and that if there is going to be a destructive cataclysm, it's God ordained. So we can't do anything to stop it anyways. No point in even worrying about it and trying to maintain the planet, which I think is a little cuckoo.
I tried to bring this up when we mentioned something about convergent evolution. Has anybody ever heard of the thylacine? Because they're all just gone. So sad.
The what?
The thylacine, the dog-looking marsupial that died out because of humans.
The Tasmanian tiger.
Yes.
Yeah, I love those.
I think they're awesome. I wish they were still alive.
You definitely know it, Austin.
people have told me they're still alive, but not told me personally. These people on the internet still alive, like they're not. I wish I was wrong. I want to see one because they're like these dogs, more stupid things. But they're dead. They have to be dead.
At that point, you get into that weird side tangent of cryptozoology where it's previously existing creatures that should be extinct and probably are extinct. But sometimes you do find specimens. Like there's this bird that was found somewhere in Tennessee still existing, even though it was supposed to have been extinct 30 years ago. And since then, we've had to reclassify. Like, they didn't die out, but they sure had a population bottleneck. So I'm open to them still existing in the wilds of England now, of all things. But kind of unlikely. But it'd be cool if they were.
So something similar to that happened, Chris, with you see, there's this thing that humans have done a lot, which makes it kind of crazy that they deny evolution, is that they cause a lot of evolution. And the one examples of it is human sailors that visited a very remote sequestered island. They inadvertently introduced an invasive species of carnivorous lizards to this island.
Oh, yeah.
They took all the things they wanted from that island and they were getting ready to leave. And they were like, hey, should we kill off this invasive species of lizards that we brought to this island and, fix the homeostasis here? And the captain was just like, nah, they're carnivorous. Eventually they'll run out of stuff to eat. Let's dip. So they got on the boat, sailed off, fucked off back to merry old England. Decades later, they returned to this island for more resources, expecting the lizard population to be gone, to have fed on all of the populations that it can predate on, and to have died out from starvation. But do you think that's what they found? No, that's not what they found. Good guess, Brock. No, that's not what they found. They found that lizard population was still alive and thriving, and that they were no longer carnivorous. They were now completely herbivorous. They ate only plants, which had to involve evolution, because a carnivore is not equipped to just start digesting a diet of 100% plants right there in generation one. They had to gradually adapt the ability to digest that shit. Plants
are awesome.
Yes, plants have a lot of chemicals in them that we need specific enzymes, sometimes even specific bacteria. We have bacteria that live in our gut that actually digest them for us, because we do not possess the ability to digest them ourselves. Yeah, go ahead.
Because I've been, this might sound a little weird, but I have studied people's arguments against and for veganism and stuff like this. And one guy said we're herbivores, and someone said we can't eat grass. And the guy had to clarify, we're not ruminants. And I don't know if I am a herbivore. I guess I could digest meat. I don't know if it calls artists, but I would say that I am not a ruminant because I can't digest cellulose on my own, and my bacteria, and it's more of something for them than it is for me. It just helps me poo this stuff out.
You also don't have multiple specialized stomachs.
Yeah, that is a very important point I don't have.
Another factor, why do we have the same stomachs as other omnivores, the same ones as other apes? It's like, shouldn't ours be special? Like, honestly, if we're special creations and we're the chosen one, shouldn't we be able to just eat anything? It wouldn't matter. Why do we even need to eat? Like, that's another thing. Special creations. Why do you even need to eat? Why all these weird rules that make sense when you look at life as a chemical engine and a chemical reaction that needs to be maintained when it's supposed to be something special? It doesn't make any sense.
So I think that comes from just the origin of religious explanatory myths. Definitely. Ironically, even the creation myth itself is just an explanatory myth. Brock, have you ever read Genesis?
I've read a bit of it, not all of it.
So what's interesting about Genesis, Brock, is that it basically just describes why there's rain. That's the main reason that myth is. It also describes,
my God, you're right,
where all the species come from too. But mostly it's about God taking the seas that exist forever and he divides them. That's another interesting thing. Genesis doesn't even say God created the universe. It said that the universe just was, and it was this giant sea of chaotic waters, and God, divided them. He made an area in between all these seas of chaotic waters where land could form, and then he put a dome over it, and then he put in the dome celestial gates that those are actually what cause the weather. That's what causes the rain. Is every now and then God's like, open the gate, and water comes floating down from above. And obviously now we know that's not true anymore, unless you're a fucking flat earther. Of course, those people drive me insane.
But my ice wall.
Biblical cosmologist.
Have you seen Dave Farina?
Non-local son.
Oh,
Professor Dave. He made fun of the. Crap. Why can I not talk?
Professor Dave is incredible.
Yeah.
He's an awesome guy. He made fun of the flat earthers. He said, "Watch out for it. Don't go to Antarctica. The nasty Jew penguins will shoot you." I was like, "That's hilarious." Because making fun of them because that's what they believe. That's what they believe.
You're touching on something that's actually really big right now, Brock, is the final experiment. That's what that was called.
Yes.
When they went to Antarctica and they filmed the Midnight Sun, and they paid for a couple of flat earthers to come along and basically be like, look,
actually saw it.
Feel your eyes open and look, the sun is in the sky. That wouldn't that wouldn't happen on the flat earth. Explain it, motherfucker.
None of them went, right?
Yeah. Three of them went. A bunch of non-flat earthers went to, like Dave McKeegan and MC Toon and Critical Think. Just awesome actual science guys who went and they did the fuck out of some scientific experiments. Yes, 3 flurfs went. Austin Whitsitt, Jeranism, and some female flurf nobody's ever heard of, Lisbeth or something like that. And they were all paid for by this, ironically, a young Earth creationist named Will Duffy. Although McToon told me, does anybody know, is Duffy is a young Earth creationist, right? Because I mentioned a comment about that, and McToon said he took over a church that was run by a young Earth creationist. So it's like their church requires that statement, but it kind of felt like he was hinting that Duffy might not be a young Earth creationist. I'll just say his young Earth creationism is of unverified veracitude. He is a possible young Earth creationist, an alleged young Earth creationist. But he paid for pretty much the whole thing. Except he ran out of money for the project at some point, and everybody else had to start crowdfunding. But it was a phenomenal success from everything. You know what? It blows my mind because a young Earth creationist an alleged young Earth creationist. He's a religious apologist either way. A religious apologist just gave counter apologists an amazing amount of ammo against a specific form of religious apologetics, this biblical cosmologist, flat earth, geocentric bullshit. It's fascinating, right? So
awesome.
It's like it would be like if an anti-vaxxer paid for COVID-19 research or something. It almost seems like he's shooting himself in the foot with it. Like, I think it's freaking awesome that he did that. But it confuses me at the same time. It almost fills me with a cautious hope in a way, like a religious person who actually cares about the truth? Don't tempt me. Like, please say it's real,
It's a miracle.
Yeah.
You know what else is a miracle? The fact that Ken Hovind isn't a flat earther. We have to bring that up.
I know.
It's incredible.
I was thinking of talking to Donnie and saying, hey, Donnie, this flat earth shit is hot right now. And I know you guys say you're against it. Do you want to do like some talks on the flat earth? Like this would be a way we could maybe build some common ground. I haven't actually presented the idea to him yet, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I kind of want to do this.
That'd be cool to fire with, definitely.
Yeah, I could at least ask him. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. It wouldn't hurt anything, I don't think. But
I would definitely join you in that.
Yeah, and if he's like, yeah, that would be cool because that would be a great chance for me to actually have an interaction with creationists that's like almost completely positive. It wouldn't be arguing about evolution at all. We'd actually be on the same side for once.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized something. I'm a bit of a slop. It's got these banana peels.
All right. We don't need all that, Brock. Goodness. Come on.
We're going to explicit banana gore on the channel. That's a YouTube community strike.
We're shutting it down. No, but I think we are kind of reaching a good winding down point here.
It's almost 2 hours.
I appreciate you guys coming on so much and talking about your favorite evidence of evolution. It was great talking, science and politics and just kind of shooting the shit with y'all for a while. Is there anything you want to say to sum things up?
Well, I've watched. I think this thing came from a whale. This thing will never become a whale. It will never become a this thing will never not be able to hoven.
Oh, what AJ started in his Hoven depression.
I don't know how. He started. He's like the toe bones connect to the. He said it in the Hoven with toe bone to the foot bone, the Hoven, and I just lost it.
Oh, bones connected to the Hoven bone. The Hoven bone's connected to his ex-wife.
Don't ever say the word Hoven bone on my stream again. How dare you, sir?
I'm gonna get banned from every channel I'm ever on.
Yeah, that's it. I think we're done.
Okay. My parting words, much love to the audience. Y'all are always awesome. You don't say it like it's my channel. Y'all are just always awesome people. I had a ton of fun here.
Speaking of bone, it makes me think of
Oh my god! That phrase is forbidden.
You're exiled.
I'm exiled. Gosh, why can I not speak? Exiled? Say it again.
Exiled, yeah.
Exiled, yeah.
I'm exiled from the holy land of Austin. I must go find my way in the land of whatever. I don't know.
Just don't go to Dinosaur Adventure Land. There might be a drowning.
Do you want to promote your channel at all, Brock, or is it like is this something you're going to be doing more content on?
I'm going to be real honest. 99% of what I've ever done on my channel is just gaming. Maybe I'll do this again in the future. I don't have to do my own live stream. I have to figure out how.
There's nothing wrong with it. Subscribe to channels for people. That's what Austin's channel is for him. Mine's my channel. Yours is your channel. That's the way YouTube is supposed to work.
I think I will make. I think I'll make a video trying to just to explain why the process of evolution has to be true, and just put it out for the world to see.
Definitely,
dude. Put it out there. Yeah. There's so many people saying the opposite on YouTube. We need some people out there speaking the true parts. For sure. Do it up, Brock. Thanks so much for coming, you guys. It was great talking with you.
Yep.
Did I add a lot to the conversation? I hope I did. Because I asked
you did, Brock. You did.
You had me busting a gut over here. I was laughing great. Oh, Deviant, you came in right at the end. Good to see you, Deviant.
Oh, hey, Deviant.
We're just about to close it out. Literally.
You missed out. You missed out all the good stuff. You missed out.
Go back and watch it. This is the shout out for Deviant on the rewatch. We're just finishing up. I gotta go get some dinner.
I don't think I've ever made an inappropriate joke on YouTube before. So I could be I don't know if people are gonna think my subscribers. What if they see I made an inappropriate joke and just unsubscribe? I don't know.
You're a person. You're having fun. That's life. We're all individuals. We all set our own standards. People just got to deal with it. You got to respect other people, unless they're hoping.
But I guess you get to enjoy the outro song at least, Deviant. Well, here we go.
This is not whatever he would say. I don't know.
Hello, everybody.